This afternoon, January the 30th, 2013, I am here speaking with Kay Buckler as part of the Des Museum's Oral History Reaching Out to Seniors. And Kay is speaking with us this afternoon about her experiences with St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church here in Bridgewater. Kay, nice to see you here.
Thank you, Mary. It was a pleasure and a delight to be asked to do this. I came in 1959, and Father Butts, who is the only parish priest buried in St. Joseph's Cemetery, he was the priest at the time. I was just out of nursing school and came to the small town. Didn't take me long to find the parish. Was pleased. The parishioners were very open to me, which was good because I was just a young whippersnapper. Anyway, Father Butts was here from my time until he passed away in July 1963. And then we got Father Heenan from Halifax, and Father Heenan stayed with us. A lot of things were done in 63 to 70, along with Vatican II, who became part of our religion, which was certainly an introduction that was different than we were used to. In 1964, Father Gordon McLean was ordained a priest. He was the first and only young man from the parish to have been ordained, and he is still alive and comes every once in a while to do a locum in the parish, so we're always pleased to have him. While Father Heenan was here, different things took place in the parish. A new rectory was purchased next door to the church and the present glebe, and eventually the present glebe was used for the sisters who would come to Bridgewater at a variety of times and different ones, and did some religious education while they were here and development and peace, and we did a lot of changes within the church during the time of Father Heenan. We removed the ornate altar at the back of the church, and the big statues on the side of the altar were removed and put to the back of the church, and a nice wooden table was introduced into the church, and the priest is now saying Mass and facing the parishioners, which was a recommendation of Vatican II, which was certainly an addition to our parish. The English language also became the language used during Mass, which was very good for everybody. At that time, there weren't a lot of parishioners. There weren't a lot of people, probably 100 families at the most. Religious education was very vibrant in the parish, but a lot of changes took place. And then in 1970, Father Jack Hayes became our parish priest. He was a brother of the archbishop or bishop at the time, and changes came into being in his time when the sisters no longer looked after religious education. I was asked to, as the first parishioner, to look after the religious education for the parish, which was quite a job because we had about 150 children plus going to classes from probably primary to grade 8. We also, at that time, I was asked by Parish Council, Richard Kuglin was the chair of Parish Council in those days, if I would become a lay minister of the Eucharist. Minister of the Eucharist was certainly a humbling experience. It meant that I had been asked to give communion to the other parishioners, and I was honored to be asked to do something like that. I also became involved in Parish Council, which was very much so in the parish, and I did 3 different sessions of Parish Councils with 3 different priests. In those days, of course, my biggest concern on Parish Council was religious ed, so that was because I was involved in that program. It was what I brought to Parish Council so the other members could be aware of what was going on in the parish. During the time of Father Hayes, Michelin Tire came to town, which was an addition to the parish because a lot of the employees of Michelin Tire were French Catholic, so that increased the amount of parishioners we had. And the Knights of Columbus became involved in the parish in 1972, and they are to this day very much visible in the parish in a variety of ways, in helping with little chores around the parish, with functions that we have, and anything that's possible, they're there to help us. During the time of Father Hayes, the Masonic Temple that was next door to the Glebe House was purchased, and it is now the present parish center that we hold all kinds of functions. And the Glebe was at that time taken down because it was not needed, because the priest had a new rectory next door, and the Masonic Temple became the parish center. So we now have 2 buildings over and above what we have with the church.
So we've taken it basically up to about the time of the 100th anniversary.
100th anniversary was in 1989, and at that time it was Father Claude McLean who was the parish priest when we celebrated the 100 years. And it was a very nice function. On May the 12th, which was a Friday in 1989, we had a beautiful mass at the church where all the priests who were around, who had been at St. Joseph's, and the bishop came down, and we had a beautiful mass, and then we had a big celebration, a party afterwards, which was very nice because it was 100 years that we had a church, which is still the present church.
So you've been a very active member then of the church?
Have always been a very active member of the church, and in my years here, I certainly have used the faith as my backbone in many things, that when I was needing assistance or needing something, they were there to help me.